Let's talk about why 99% of people fail in e-commerce. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeffrey. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe for more e-commerce related content and dropshipping and everything in between. Now today we wanted to talk about, as the title suggests, why 99% of people fail in e-commerce. Be it beginners or people who just have been running it for a few months, or even like within a span of like 1 year. And so let's discuss a few points right here and let's get right to it. So the first thing I want to kind of mention and point out is the reason why people are failing is because they're selling very generic products. And what I mean is products that are, can be found in anywhere from Walmart to Target to, any other stores down there, in your local area. Not even just big multinational companies like that, but also, smaller ones. So, generic products are things like, toothpaste, obviously not a lot of people dropship toothpaste, but then like, you know what I mean, right? So, everyday items like random, like normal clothes, or like, I don't know, like any pet related things, they can just go to PetSmart or anything like that. So, what people end up doing is they sell a lot of generic products, and that's what I mean by generic products, is people can really find this product elsewhere and they don't really have a reason to buy it, and especially impulse purchase from the store. Because if they really want the item, then they can just go down to Walmart or their nearest, center or shop to get it, right? They don't have to get it from you specifically, especially if they have to wait, 30 to 40 days to arrive, for the product to arrive. So, if you're selling generic products, chances are you're not going to see much success. And a lot of people who are failing are also the ones who are selling these general products. And this is not what you want to do. And preferably you want to be finding some products that have some kind of unique aspect to it. Has a wow factor. Is unique in some way. Has solved a problem. Preferably if you're just starting off. Of course, later down the line you want to be building a brand and finding some unique products and a following. But in the beginning you want to find something that's unique, that's not sold in stores, that has a wow factor and could potentially solve someone's problem. And so if you're selling generic products, then you could be, solving someone's problem, but people might not buy from you because it's nothing special. So the second one here, why 99% of people fail, is because they're not testing enough products. So, not only do you have to find the right products, but just because they're right doesn't mean they're a winner. So, you can test many other products, but, you have to keep in mind, you have to keep into consideration that other people are also selling the same products as you. And, either that or people are also not interested in the product. So just because it's unique and solves a problem doesn't mean that people need it. So you have to make sure that you have to test enough products in order to hit something good. So it's kind of like, a jackpot. Like, you have to keep trying until you win the jackpot, and there's a low likelihood of finding it. Not saying that that's the case for finding a winning product, but it does take trial and error, and then gradually you start to find particular items with particular characteristics that make it a winner, and then you just have to keep testing until you're finding the product, because it's really hit or miss. You're letting the market decide whether that product is good for you or not, whether it's a good idea to decide to sell it or not as well. So people need to be testing more products, and can't really expect to find a winner straight away from like the first product they do, which is a very common misconception for beginners. And you really have to spend some money up front. This is why a lot of people, including myself, we recommend starting off with like $500 at least to $1,000 to start e-commerce and dropshipping in particular with AliExpress. And because starting with like $100, $50 won't cut it, especially if you're running Facebook ads. You can just be burning that in a matter of potentially minutes, or maybe if you're spending less than like 1 day or so, half a day. So yeah, that's the second point. The third point is because people don't spend enough time with their stores. Now I've noticed that there are a lot of stores nowadays on Shopify, of course. I don't know how much, but like a few 100,000 stores or something. You can actually check a store. You can actually check from my ip.ms if you don't know. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is that people don't really spend enough time on the store, working on their, privacy policy, making sure that they have it there in the first place. Terms of service, about us, FAQ page, excuse me. because when people visit the store, they really need to know what they're getting into. And if you have a store that's selling a product that nobody really trusts, then you're not really going to get a sale, regardless of. Obviously, if you have a winning product, there's a higher likelihood of people buying it. But if they see some red flags that that kind of indicates some kind of scam or something fishy about your store, then chances are they won't buy it. And so you really have to spend time on your store to perfect it, trying to make it the best you can, and having all the important features. If you want me to make a video regarding that, you can feel free to let me know down below in the comments. But I'm not saying you should spend, let's say 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the store, but at least, make it decent enough so that people can trust it and people can really rely on it when it comes to, shipping your orders and buying from you. So you really have to have that trust instilled in your customer. And the way to do that is to really take time building your store and make it as clean, as perfect, and as beautiful as you can. Think about it like this. If you're not willing to buy from your own store, then chances are other people who you don't even know or haven't even seen won't buy from your store as well. So you really have to make sure that you're believing in your own website and in your own products in order for them to sell. So obviously that applies to product as well, but that's later down the line. You have to focus more on product quality. But yeah, so you really have to take your time and perfect your store. So the fourth point here, why 99% of people don't succeed, is because they fail to adapt to changes and try new things. Just because something works for someone else doesn't mean it works for you specifically. Different people, different store owners have different ways of running the store, different strategies, different products, and just a different pixel and different ad account. And so one strategy might not work exactly for you. So you really have to make sure that you're tweaking it that's going to be congruent with your strategy and find out what works for you. You can't really copy exactly like what people should do, but you can always find guidelines or guidance or some inspiration when it comes to running strategies. But just note that not every strategy that people see success from is going to apply to you as well. So you really have to keep experimenting. So for example, for me, I know I've actually watched a lot of videos. I've taken a lot of courses regarding Facebook ads and how to run a Shopify store. But a lot of those things don't really apply to me because I don't have a general store. So I really have to find my way around different things and try out my own strategy, even if it means wasting my own hard-earned money. And this is what you also have to really take into consideration, is that the strategies that other people use might not be the same for you. So you really have to try out yourself and see if it works and kind of tweak along the way. It might be easy, it might be hard for you, and if you can copy one strategy and make it work, then that's lucky for you. That's really good for you. This is usually, I think, the case more often than not in general stores, especially if you're running, if you're selling viral products online. Chances are you could use the same or similar strategy, but it doesn't apply to everyone. So anyway, my point is you really have to adapt to changes, and you have to find your own strategy and find what works for you. So the fifth and last point I wanted to point out is that there's no right strategy. That brings me to my next point actually. There's no right strategy. And so just because, as I said, something works for you doesn't mean it works for someone else. And actually that's supposed to be applied to the fifth point actually. So I wanted to go back to the point of failing to adapt to changes. So anyway, as I said, sorry about that, about the order, but hopefully you got what I mean. But the fourth one is like failing to adapt to a strategy. Failing to adapt to changes is that Facebook ads are constantly changing. Things are constantly changing in general for dropshipping. It's constantly evolving. So you really have to be on top of your game. Make sure you're using the right strategies. Make sure you're up to date with YouTube videos. I'm sure there are a lot of content that's being uploaded constantly, trying to update you on the different ways of running a store, different strategies, things like that, and different ad platforms. So you really have to stay on top of your game, and failing to adapt to changes is going to be detrimental to not only your store but also yourself. You have to constantly strive for self-improvement and really improve yourself and how you can improve your store. So anyway, that was just a slight mix-up. I apologize for that, but hopefully you get what I mean for those 2 points. Even though I screwed up the order in my notes. But anyway, yeah, these are the 5 points that I think people don't really take into consideration, and why 99% of the people fail at e-commerce is because they don't take into these 5 considerations. They don't take into consideration these 5 points. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to share these 5 things to you guys so you can keep in mind, why people aren't seeing success, and hopefully it will make you succeed down the line. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and let me know down below your comments. And thanks for tuning in.